Day 19 of Advent of Cyber 2024. Let's see what it is. Dirt on the mayor, the glitch needed more, but dirt was protected by a pesky locked door. But no need for panic, no need for dramatics. The glitch would get through with these game mechanics. Interesting. So today we'll be doing game hacking. So that's also part of pen testing, where you will exploit some binaries to get what we want. So this is basically the story, so I'm just skipping it. So the learning objectives are: understand how to interact with an executables API. So this is not a web API, this is an executable API, which is like a binary API. So there's a binary, if you run it and if you ask something, it will generate an API request to some other library, which would bring out the stuff that we want, right? So that is an executables API. Intercept and modify internal APIs using Frida. So we can also modify the output which is coming and reaching back to executable. So we will use some software called Frida. So hack a game with the help of Frida. So these are the learning objectives that we'll be doing. And game hacking, this much money is lost in game hacking. Executables and libraries, you can go through that. We'll understand all of this when we are showing the lab. So there is a gaming executable and there is a library right here. Once the executable requires something, it is going to ask the library, and the library would get the result back to the game executable. So this is how the interaction will be. And hacking with Frida. So what Frida does is, Frida will be like a proxy, like a burp suit between game executable and the library that we want. Okay, so whenever there is some request that is sent to the library, the Frida can intercept it and can change some things. And when it returns back, it can also change right here. There is a software called Frida Trace, which will trace all the functions. So if you are using just Kali Linux or HM Cyber Academy OS, you won't be able to directly run Frida Trace. Okay, it is not directly installed. So there are a bunch of steps you need to do in order to actually run Frida Trace. So first thing you do is sudo apt update. Once that is done, next you need sudo apt install python 3 pip. Frida Trace is not a software by itself. It requires Python to actually run it. Pip install Frida tools. And sometimes this might not work. It will ask something like you'd need system-wide privileges or something. So for that, what you need to do is you say break system packages. So this will not actually break. This is just a warning for Frida. So we can actually bypass that using this option. So once this is done, Frida will be installed, but it will not be installed in the path that we expect. We need to give path for every executable. So for this, what we need to do is you need to say echo $path and give $path colon and the directory which it will be installed. So after this command, it will show where it is installed in the warning section. So you get that directly from here. Okay, /home / the username, whichever that username is, and .local.bin. So once this is done, then you can use Frida Trace. Okay, so this is how you install, and you can say main, and you can intercept or instrument certain packages or libraries. I won't be using my own PC because I don't have that particular binary. It will be inside the TORHAT machine. So I'll directly get that TORHAT machine right here. When you click on the start machine, this will pop up. So here there is a folder, try unlock me. So if you just open that, you'll have these files. So here, this is the executable. So right click here and open in terminal. Let's try to see what type of file that try unlock me is. As you can see, it is a 64-bit executable file. So let's try to run that file. Okay, we have some sort of game that is open here. So it says press space to continue. So let's hit space, and these are the options. You can move using arrow keys, and space to interact or speak. Space. Okay, I can move, and let's try to interact with this penguin over here. Welcome to Try Unlock Me 3.12, the only game-based lock in the world. Interesting. A game? Aren't smart locks good enough? The mayor fears any lock that's smarter than him. Wanna know how it works? Not real. It's about to finish the sentence, but it does not allow it to finish. Nice, let me explain it to you. To open this door, you will need to prove that your mayor malware via patent pending 3-factor authentication system. You have heard about 2-factor authentication, but this is more advanced than that. Okay, so 3-factor authentication, which means it requires 3 steps for the authentication to complete, and prove that this glitch, whichever this is the mayor malware. Okay, so this is glitch right here. So let's see. Something you know, something you own, something you are. Okay, so these are the different type of authentication. So something you know, you might know some sort of password or OTP. Something you own, like a credit card or something, or any card that can unlock something. And something you are means your biometrics or other things like that. So these are the different types of authentication. And then it says, what? Where did you get that from? You're a funny one. The first factor is that random number thingy the mayor has. You mean OTP? OTP is one-time password. Oh yes, the mayor mentioned something about that. Do you have it? And then it's asking for OTP. So we don't have that OTP. Let's type something. Okay, it says wrong number. You don't look like mayor malware to me. So as you can see, there was this OTP thing, right? So if I type something, it is going to send this data to the library, get the result back from the library, and try to match with the same thing that the library has provided. So once it is matched with the library that is provided, then the OTP is correct, or else it is false. Let's try to use Frida for this. So I closed it. So once you have installed Frida, you can say Frida trace and that executable followed by -i. So this option -i is like an instrument for Frida trace, which will specify the pattern to match function names or symbols. So here I'm going to mention everything. So if I mention everything, what's going to happen? It's going to match every interaction that is happening with every library with this executable. Let's hit enter. As you can see, so many functions are being loaded, right? So many interactions that are happening with so many libraries. So let's close this. Control C to close. Here, if I scroll a little bit up, there is this home directory, Ubuntu, that's the user, and there is desktop and try unlock me, and there are handlers. As you can see, this handlers is there in every interaction, right? So let's see what it is. Let's move it aside, and here we have handlers. Okay, it's in the same directory where this executable is. So let's open that. So here we have so many libraries. So just by looking at them, do you see any library that's standing out? Okay, I'll tell you. So here this libaoc game, which is like advent of cyber game. Okay, so this that game. So this is the specific library which stands out to me. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy this name and even open this to see what's inside. And now what I want to do is I want to only interact with this library. So I'll say this library, and you also need to mention this exclamation mark just after the library. This is like essential to mention that this is the library that we are going to interact with. So once this is done, you can also keep an asterisk to show that it might have some other functions or some other libraries inside this main library. So interact with everything that you can find. So here, if I open this directory, I can see 4 files right here, right? So these 4 files can act like a small libraries or some functions that it can have. Okay. So once you hit enter, it's not start tracing anything. So it's possibly because I have to use single quotes. Okay, let's try that again. Exclamation mark asterisk. So now you see 4 functions that we are tracing. So this application is running 4 functions in the background that are related to libaoc game. So let's start and see which specific function that we'll interact with. So when we go here to the penguin again and press space, so just after I press the space, this set OPI function just popped up, right? So the set OPI function is right here. So I can try to see what's inside. So I can use Pluma or any other code editor. I'll just open this right here. Okay. So as you can see, that same function is right here. Let's continue with the program and see what we can find. So space, 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 and also make sure you're watching this. Space, space, space. So I'll just give some number and it says wrong number. Since we are initiating this function or calling this function, we can also see what we can do with that function. So what is this function actually returning? So you can say log arg0. So it can say what functions it is actually returning. So I'll write this and I can save it and I'll do that again. So space, space. Okay, so this time we got one more API call right here. So I hope you have seen this. So this is a hex number. So it can be some number. Okay, so I can say hex to integer. So I can say this convert and this is the number, right? So looks like it is a 6-digit OTP for me. So I can try that, or here itself I can give dot to int 32-bit and let's save it and let's do this thing again. Make sure you're watching the same thing. So space and let's give some random number again. Let's click on that space, space, and this time we got a new number. So this time let's try to keep this number in the OTP. So 789572. Let's hit enter. Ding, ding, ding. Welcome back, Mayor Malware. You may now proceed. Flag 1 is try hack me one tough password. So I'm gonna save it in a new Pluma application. I'm gonna save it right here. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, once this is done, you can move right here. And we have, okay, this is a new stage and looks like we have a PC right here. And if I press space, I get a gold coin, right? Can you see? This is also updating right here. So I'll go to the penguin and ask what it can do. When I interact with this penguin, I also need to check what's happening in the terminal. You are now verified to be at least 1/3 of Mayor malware. Congratulations. Okay, second authentication factor is a wish list for billionaires. Sounds shady. How does this even work? I'd be silly to tell you that could compromise the whole system. Oh, at least you are more security aware than the last guy. Am I? Alright. I'll explain it just this once, because I like you. Mayor malware is the only one in the Wearwell with super ultra mega premium extra hyper plus card plan. I amaze myself that I said without even stuttering. So this means he's the only one who could buy coveted flag 2 item from the store. Does he pay 1 million coins every time he needs to open this door? He does, but then refunds the product I should be rich by now. If you are having cash issues, you can always mine some coins in that old PC. Is there anything you'd want to buy? Okay, we have 3 products. One is advice, one is 10 coins, one is flag. Flag requires $1 million. So since I have like 5 coins, I can buy one of these things. Let's hit 1 and that will be selected. Let's hit enter. So this time I'm interacting with validate purchase function. So I'll go to that directory and see that this is that file. I'll open this directly in the same editor and let me use the same function from here. Right click, copy and paste it right here. And let's remove this as of now just to see what is inside org0. Let's save it. Okay, it is saved. Let's go back to this terminal and also to the game. I'll have to go and get that same thing. Okay, I got 5 coins. Let's interact with this penguin. Is there anything you want to buy? I'll just hit 1 and hit enter. So this time I got OX1. So OX1 is nothing but the number 1. So I'll also convert this into integer just to show you. So dot to int 32-bit. Whenever there is something like a product, it has a number which is the number that we got right here, OX1. It also has some price, right? 5 coins or whatever. So it must be the second argument and we can also get something like that, right? So we might get different arguments. So what we can do is we can copy paste this and we're going to say the second argument and the third argument and the fourth argument. So let's save it. Let's go back to the terminal and also to the game. Interact with the penguin. Is there anything you want to buy? Okay, so this time I'm going to buy ID 1 again. So let's hit enter. So it says ID 1 or the product 1, which has the price of 5 coins. And it is also replying with 2 other things. So these 2 might be the retrieval and the state. We now know that either org1 or org2 is showing the price of the coin. So what if we replace that price of the coin with something else? What we can do is we can say args of 1 equals to pointer of 0, which means its price is 0. So I can buy with 0 price of anything. Okay, so I can save this and I can try to interact with the game again. So make sure you understand it is requesting this library, and once the library gets some price value, we are changing that price value to 0 and then we are returning the same thing. So let's go to that terminal and also to the game. Let's do that again. Looks like we don't need any coins, but we'll try it anyway without coins. Okay, this time I'm going to buy the product 3 or ID 3. So I don't have $1 million, but change the price to 0. So I should be able to buy this. So hit enter. It's saying checking your credit card. Welcome back, Mayor Malware. You may now proceed. So we have a new flag right here. Try hack me credit card undeclined. Let's move to the next one. Click on space and let's move to the next one. Okay, we have Mayor Malware over here on the right. We have some sort of king penguin, or I can say kingpin. Just one more factor to overcome to fully become Mayor Malware. So the last authentication factor is biometrics. So this is who you are. At last, normal authentication factor. So whose eyes do I need? Eyes. This is a punch-based authentication system. Mayor Malware has a very specific way of punching the keyboard that no one can replicate. Interesting. And here we go again with the madness. Should I punch my keyboard then? Well, you can gently put your hand on the keyboard. No need to get violent. So I'll be seeing the terminal as well to see which function now we need to look at. So hit space. I was worried for a second. Now show me the keyboard. Please put your fist in the keyboard. And I'm just typing something. Okay, I'm just typing the space button. Space, 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 space. Now submit it. So naughty fingers I see. Are you sure you're Mayor malware? And here if you see, it is looking at this function, biometrics pkc. So I'll have to go to the directory to see that this is the file. Okay, I'm just double clicking on this. Okay, here also I'll import the same function which I used right here. Control C, Control V. So I'm going to remove this toInteger as of now. So let's save it. Let's go back to terminal and also to the game. Let's hit space and let's hit space again and let's type something. So now we are getting some hex again. So we can try to convert it to integer to see what's actually happening. Terminal game. Okay, so this is a huge number. So this is coming after we input some space characters. So we cannot replicate this. Okay, every time it's getting a new number. What we can do is we can think of this as a memory address. So we can try to see what is inside this memory by keeping some special function memory.read C string and the argument which we want, which is argument 0. So now let's save it, and this function will read whatever is inside this argument and it will try to see what is inside this memory location. So let's go back to terminal and also to the game. Let's hit some spaces. So now we get some gibberish text. Do we get the same text every time? So let's try that again. No, we don't get the same text again and again. We get some different kind of text. So this is of no use and it is coming after we input the space characters. What you can do is you can just ignore this part and we can now see in the reverse direction. So till now what we were doing is we were doing this entry part. So that we called it as on enter. So this is what we did till now. Now we want to do on leave part, which means whenever it's leaving the library and trying to enter into the executable, now we will interact this part and we'll change whatever the value it's returning to the executable. And we have a variable called retval here. So this is like a return value. So what we can do is we can say log of return value and let's see what we get. Let's go to terminal and also to the game. Let's punch some numbers. So we're getting 0, which is null, which is also like false, right? False means the biometric did not successfully execute, right? So what if we change it to true? We can change it to true by replacing this value with 1. So what we can do is we can say retval, which is the return value, dot replace and replace it with pointer 1. So this will replace the value from 0 to 1. So save it. Let's go back to terminal and game. So let's punch some numbers. Okay, that's weird. You didn't punch the keyboard, yet the signature is correct. Okay, looks like we got caught or something. Mayor malware could have hit it with all his might. Who are you, imposter? You can't fool me. Looks like the hacker got caught. Me? I am the mayor. Yes, the mayor malware. Vote for me, please. Penguin is thinking. Oh, my bad. Welcome back, mayor. We missed you. Okay, we are now safe. Let's get the third flag. So looks like we got 3 flags. Do we get anything else? So let's go here Interact with Mayor malware. Nothing. Let's go here. Let's try to enter the place. Nothing. So what is the OTP flag? This is the OTP flag. What is the billionaire item flag? This is the billionaire item flag. Paste it. What is the biometric flag? This is the biometric flag. Paste it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.